So there's a new block on Cartoon Network focusing on classic shows from the network's early years. It's called Checkered Past, an obvious reference to the checkerboard era. I'm gonna be honest, I just haven't been paying attention to CN lately. There's a few current shows I like, but I personally don't like how it's turned into just a kids network. Plus, I'm not on board for the channel to have a preschool block, but that's a topic for a later date. Much later. But that's okay, cause this block is airing on Adult Swim, which for now, for some reason, starts at 5 p.m. And the show's airing on Dexter's Lab, Courage, Ed, Edd n Eddy, and Billy and Mandy. Hopefully the scheduling gets a change up, and more shows will be added to the block, like Cow and Chicken, and especially Johnny Bravo. A highlight of this block, aside from the older shows, is the bumpers. They're very creative, and I'm glad Adult Swim is still keeping this tradition alive. On the surface, it seems pretty surreal to have these shows airing on Adult Swim of all places. Well, this is a throwback block, and the audience for it are adults who watched these shows when they were kids, aka millennials. I guess in that regards it makes sense. And also the fact that, with the exception of a few, when it comes to Cartoon Network's original programming, I never really saw them as kids shows. I consider them more family shows, where kids and adults can enjoy them. Plus back then and today, the shows were known for pushing the envelope. But I'm not gonna lie, it is kinda weird seeing the TV PG rating on an episode of Ed, Edd n Eddy, but I remember as a kid it was TVY7. I guess times have changed. Throwback blocks are nothing new. Channels were always looking for ways to appeal to the generation who were growing up and nostalgic for the past, like the 60s nostalgia in the 80s, or the 70s nostalgia in the 90s. But I can't help but think of another block that was similar in concept. It came out a decade earlier.
Millions asked for it, and now Teen Nick is bringing back 90s Nickelodeon. It's the 90s are all that!
Yep, the 90s are all that. I specifically remember being in a teen in high school at the time this came out in 2011. I was part of a summer program and was super excited to watch this block of old Nick shows that really haven't aired in a while. You couldn't find them on Nicktoons, and if you did, they probably aired in a graveyard slot. And streaming wasn't a thing yet. It was a big deal. It would later get rebranded as Splat, and would air pretty much the same retro programming, with not much variety. I would have loved to see more 90s shows like Cousin Skeeter, Kablam, and Pete and Pete, but also early 2000s stuff, like Brothers Garcia and Taina. If we're being honest, this isn't even the first time seeing us delve into something like this. In 2012, during the channel's 20th anniversary, they brought back Cartoon Planet, where instead of showing old Hanna-Barbera and Looney Tunes shorts, they showed some of their cartoons and other CN shows for the mid to late 2000s. Once again, hosted by Space Ghosts Brack and Zorak. I remember catching this block on Friday nights, but I lost interest when they started dumping shit like Secret Mount Fort Awesome, Problem Solvers, and Almost Naked Animals. Shows I already couldn't stand, so the block lost its importance. I genuinely hope Checkered Past doesn't suffer the same fate, and hopefully maybe they can expand the programming. So what do you think of Checkered Past? Do you like it? Do you think it's unnecessary? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, I'm 47 Cartoon Guy, and I gotta fly. I'll catch you later.